There is a kind of woman who walks a different path. She is strong, calm, and never in a hurry to prove herself. She doesn't follow the crowd, and she doesn't need attention to know her worth. This woman is the Sigma female. She carries a quiet power that comes from within, not from the world around her. But what most people don't see is that her strength is not only her own. There is something divine behind it. The Sigma female is not ordinary. She is shaped by solitude, guided by intuition, and grounded in faith, even when she doesn't speak about it. Life doesn't always come easy to her, but she handles every challenge with a kind of grace that feels almost spiritual. Some call it luck, some call it fate, but it's something deeper. It's what God gives her. When the Sigma female walks through life, she is not chasing anything. She doesn't seek approval, recognition, or validation. Instead, she listens to a quiet voice that leads her where she needs to be. That voice comes from above. God doesn't give her everything she wants, but He gives her everything she needs to fulfill her purpose. In this video, we'll look at 6 powerful things that God gives only to the Sigma female. These are not material blessings. They are divine gifts, spiritual tools that make her the woman she was meant to be. These gifts are what set her apart, what strengthen her, and what allow her to walk alone, yet never feel lonely. So let's begin with the first divine gift that God gives to the Sigma female, one that defines the core of who she is. Thing number 1, divine solitude as sacred space. The first thing that God gives to the Sigma female is solitude, not loneliness, but divine solitude. To most people, being alone feels uncomfortable. They fill their time with noise, distractions, and company to avoid silence. But for the Sigma female, solitude is sacred. It is the space where she meets herself and connects with God. From an early age, she might notice that she doesn't fit in easily. While others crave groups, she prefers her own company. Some people misunderstand her, thinking she's cold or distant. But what they don't see is that her solitude is not isolation, it's alignment. It's how God prepares her for her purpose. In those quiet moments, she hears what others can't. God speaks to her through stillness, guiding her thoughts and shaping her inner strength. Her alone time becomes her training ground. Every moment of silence teaches her how to trust her instincts, guard her energy, and understand her worth without needing others to confirm it. This divine solitude also protects her. God often separates her from certain people, places, or paths not to punish her, but to refine her. When relationships fall away or opportunities close, she doesn't chase after them. She learns that what's meant for her will always find her, and what's not will fade for a reason. Over time, the Sigma female becomes comfortable in her own presence. She doesn't need to fill her space with constant noise. Her peace grows in stillness. In solitude, she reflects, heals, and evolves. That's where she gains her insight and calm. When she steps back into the world, people sense something different about her. She carries the strength of someone who has spent time in silence with her Creator. Her independence isn't rebellion, it's divine grounding. God gives her solitude not to make her lonely, but to help her hear His voice clearly. It's the gift that shapes every other part of her journey. Thing number 2, unshakable. Inner peace, the next gift that God gives to the Sigma female, is inner peace, a calm that doesn't depend on circumstances. This peace is not the absence of problems, it's the strength to remain steady in the middle of them. Life tests her often. People misunderstand her choices, question her motives, and sometimes try to bring her down. But even when the world becomes loud, she doesn't lose her center. Her calm isn't weakness, it's faith in action. She knows that whatever happens, she's guided and protected. This inner peace is something God places deep within her spirit. It's not something she learned from others or from experience alone. It's something divine that cannot be taken away. Even when things go wrong, she feels a quiet certainty that it's all part of a bigger plan. While others panic, the Sigma female listens. She observes before reacting. She has learned that every challenge carries a lesson and that nothing in life happens by accident. Her peace allows her to see clearly when others are clouded by fear or anger. This unshakable peace is also what attracts people to her. They might not understand why, but they feel calm around her. Her energy doesn't demand attention, it brings comfort. In a world filled with chaos, she becomes a reminder that strength and serenity can exist together. However, maintaining this peace isn't easy. The Sigma female protects it fiercely. She avoids gossip, drama, and anything that drains her energy. She's careful about who she lets close, because she knows her peace is sacred. God gives her this inner calm not as a reward, but as preparation. He knows she will walk paths that others can't. Her peace is her shield. It keeps her steady when storms come, and it reminds her that her strength doesn't come from the world. It comes from within, where God dwells. Her life becomes an example of faith without words. She doesn't need to preach or convince anyone. Her presence speaks for itself. The peace she carries is proof of her connection to something higher, a divine signature on her spirit. Thing number 3, vision and clarity, beyond the ordinary. The next thing that God gives to the Sigma female is vision, spiritual clarity that allows her to see beyond what others can. While most people focus only on what's in front of them, the Sigma female has the ability to see the bigger picture. She notices signs, patterns, and connections that others miss. This isn't imagination, it's discernment. It's a divine gift of insight that comes from deep awareness. This clarity shows up in many ways. She can sense when something isn't right, even if it looks fine on the surface. She can feel when people are being genuine or hiding their true motives. Her instincts are sharp because they're guided by something higher than logic. God gives her this inner sight, not to make her suspicious, but to help her walk wisely. The Sigma female often sees the truth long before others do. She can sense the direction her life is meant to go, even when the path isn't clear yet. She may not have all the answers, but she knows when something aligns with her purpose and when it doesn't. This guidance helps her avoid distractions and choose paths that lead to growth, not confusion. This kind of vision also comes with responsibility. Sometimes she sees potential in others before they see it in themselves. She can sense pain behind smiles or weakness behind pride. While it can be heavy to carry that awareness, she uses it with compassion. She doesn't expose or judge, she understands. Her clarity becomes a light that quietly helps others without needing recognition. There are also moments when her insight sets her apart. People may not always understand her choices, especially when she follows her intuition instead of reason. But she doesn't let that bother her. She knows that when God shows her something, she's meant to trust it, even if no one else sees it yet. Over time, this vision becomes her strength. It helps her avoid unnecessary battles and recognize blessings disguised as challenges. It allows her to walk through life prepared, focused, and unshaken. God gives her vision not just so she can see clearly, but so she can live wisely and guide others through her example. Thing number 4, freedom from approval and expectation. Another divine gift that God gives to the Sigma female is freedom, the freedom to live without needing approval or permission. Many people spend their lives trying to please others, following trends and fearing rejection. But the Sigma female doesn't. She moves through life guided by conviction and action, not by opinion. This kind of freedom is rare, and it often comes after struggle. Early in her life, she may have tried to fit in or please others, only to realize that it drained her spirit. At some point, she learns that she was never meant to blend in. God didn't create her to follow the crowd, He created her to walk her own path. When this realization sets in, she becomes unstoppable. She no longer seeks validation from friends, family, or society. She listens to her inner voice, the one that whispers truth even when it's uncomfortable. This voice comes from God, reminding her that she doesn't need to meet anyone else's expectations. Because of this freedom, she lives with authenticity. Her choices reflect her beliefs, not trends. She wears what she wants, says what she means, and pursues what feels right to her soul. She doesn't need the world to understand her decisions, because she knows who she answers to. This independence often intimidates people who are still bound by external expectations. They mistake her confidence for arrogance, but it's simply self-trust. She doesn't rebel for attention, she acts from clarity. Her freedom allows her to create, grow, and love without fear of judgment. God gives her this gift because He knows she will need it. Her path isn't always easy or popular, but it's meaningful. By freeing her from the weight of approval, He allows her to focus on her mission, not on pleasing others. This divine freedom also brings peace. When she stops trying to meet every demand, she finally has energy for the things that truly matter. She becomes grounded, calm, and centered. Her decisions come from truth, and her confidence comes from faith. God's gift of freedom allows her to be herself completely, and that authenticity is what makes her unforgettable. Thing number 5. Authentic impact without recognition. The next thing that God gives to the Sigma female is the ability to make an impact without needing recognition. In a world where many seek fame and attention, the Sigma female's influence is quiet but powerful. She doesn't need the spotlight to make a difference. Her presence alone shifts the energy in any space she enters. God uses her in subtle ways. She inspires people through her actions, her words, and even her silence. Often, she doesn't realize how much she affects others. A simple conversation, a kind gesture, or a calm reaction can leave a lasting impression. People remember how she made them feel, not because she tried to impress them, but because she was genuine. This kind of influence is divine because it's pure. She gives without expecting anything back. Her strength lies in her authenticity, and that's what draws others to her. Even when she works behind the scenes, her impact reaches far beyond what she sees. Many Sigma females are placed by God in roles where they help others quietly, through mentorship, creativity, or acts of service that go unnoticed. But the lack of recognition never bothers them. They understand that their reward isn't in praise, it's in purpose. The world often overlooks silent leaders, but God doesn't. He sees her efforts, her patience, and her consistency. He knows that her humility allows His work to shine through her. That's why He trusts her with influence, because she won't misuse it. Her authenticity also sets her apart. She doesn't follow trends or mimic others to gain attention. She stands out because she's real. People can sense that she's not performing or pretending. Her honesty gives her credibility, and her humility gives her strength. Over time, her quiet impact grows stronger. She becomes a source of wisdom and comfort to those around her. Others may rise and fall with attention, but her influence lasts because it's rooted in truth. God gives her this gift not to make her famous, but to make her meaningful. Her work may not always be seen, but it's always felt. Thing number 6. Deep alignment with purpose and calling. The last thing that God gives to the Sigma female is alignment, an unshakable connection to her purpose. Unlike many who drift through life searching for meaning, the Sigma female feels a quiet pull towards something greater. Even when she can't fully explain it, she knows she is being guided toward a path that fits her soul perfectly. This alignment doesn't happen overnight. It often begins with confusion, challenges, and solitude. God strips away everything that distracts her so that she can hear what truly matters. The jobs, friendships, or plans that don't serve her purpose begin to fade. At first, this feels like loss, but it's actually direction. God is removing what blocks her so He can reveal where she belongs. Over time, she begins to recognize patterns. Certain opportunities repeat, certain doors open with ease, and her heart feels alive when she follows specific paths. That's how she knows she's aligned. She's not chasing success anymore, she's following purpose. This deep alignment gives her peace. She doesn't need to compare her journey to anyone else's, because she understands that everyone has their own calling. She trusts divine timing. When something doesn't happen right away, she doesn't panic. She knows it's being prepared for the right moment. Her sense of purpose also gives her endurance. When things get hard, she doesn't quit easily. She knows she's being shaped, not punished. Each obstacle becomes a lesson that strengthens her faith and sharpens her skills. She learns to see setbacks as preparation for the next step. The Sigma female's purpose often involves helping others awaken, create, or heal. Her strength, intuition, and independence make her a guide without even trying. She doesn't push people toward change, she inspires it through her example. This alignment with purpose is the final divine gift because it ties everything together. Her solitude taught her to listen. Her peace taught her to trust. Her vision taught her to see clearly. Her freedom taught her to walk alone. Her humility taught her to serve quietly. And now, her purpose gives all of that meaning. God gives her this alignment because He knows she can handle it. She's built for depth, not comfort. She's meant to lead, not by command, but by presence. Her life becomes her message, and every step she takes reflects divine direction. The Sigma female is not just independent, she is divinely guided. Her strength comes from a place the world cannot touch. God gives her solitude to grow, peace to endure, vision to see, freedom to stand tall, humility to serve, and purpose to shine. These are not random qualities. They are sacred gifts that shape her into who she is meant to be. She may not always see the full picture, but she walks in faith. Her life is proof that silence can be powerful, humility can be strength, and purpose can be louder than recognition. She doesn't chase blessings, they find her, because she lives in alignment with what's true. If you are a Sigma female, you might recognize these gifts in your own life. You might have wondered why your path felt different, or why you were called to stand apart. The truth is, God sets you apart because He has something specific for you to do. You weren't made to blend in, you were made to lead with quiet confidence and spiritual depth. So embrace your solitude, guard your peace, and keep walking your path. You're not walking alone. You're walking with purpose, guided by the one who designed it for you from the start.